All right. Hello, everybody. I'm Leota Harriman, the editor and publisher of the independent newspaper in Edgewood, which is where I'm joining you from today. And I have with me Chloé Duplessis, who is a Denver-based artist by way of Louisiana. And the reason we're coming to you today is to talk to you about a little event that we're putting on next weekend featuring her art and a panel discussion along with it. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to interview Chloé real quick about her art, and then she's going to ask me about the panel discussion that we'll be having, and then that'll be it. So without further ado, Chloé, please introduce yourself to everybody and talk about your art and what you'll be doing here in Edgewood.
Absolutely. And thank you for the opportunity, Leota. My name is Chloé Duplessis. I am a contemporary artist. My chosen medium is digital collage. And my work centers history, culture, and healing. I create because I want people to fully see everyone. I feel as if everyone deserves to be seen. And that's the nature of my work. I will be traveling to Edgewood on next weekend for an art exhibition. We'll have a beautiful art show. I'll engage with you. You'll see my work. It's a show that specifically is curated for Edgewood and for this experience. And then following, we'll have a multicultural panel discussion and we'll talk about some really, really good things. And some things that we really need to talk about, frankly. But I'm excited to bring this show. It's an honor to partner with the Independent. You're so progressive. I love, love, love it. And it's a privilege to work with you, Leota. And, you know, this has been in the plans for a few months, but I think it's notable for us to share that this show, this version of the show has never been seen before. So that's something special for the community there. It is a nationally ranked show, and this is the third city that we've traveled to. As you mentioned, I am from Louisiana, and I currently live in Denver, Colorado, and we are working here, thriving, and I absolutely love it. And we opened the show in January of this year to widespread acclaim. We're so grateful for that. And then the show traveled to New Orleans in June, where we partnered with a boutique hotel brand to serve as artists in residence, the old number 77 hotel, a beautiful historic hotel in the New Orleans Arts District, and engage the community there. So when we come to Edgewood, we'll be taking some of the favorite pieces from the show, the favorites, the stories that resonated most with people, but we'll also have some really cool new pieces that I will be unveiling specifically for the community there in Edgewood on next Saturday. So excited about that. And each piece of work is someone's story, because I've been collecting stories for about 2 years. So that has an added value, I feel, in this season where we're working to ensure that everyone is seen.
Right. You know, one thing that I've been curious about your work is that you're visually impaired, and your work is about being seen. And I wonder if you would talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, which is kind of ironic that a woman who is losing her vision is so focused on ensuring that everyone be seen. And trust me, it wasn't planned that way, at least not on my end. But I was not always visually impaired. I've always been, you know, I wore glasses in kindergarten, so I've always been that kid with glasses. But it wasn't until I went to the doctor's visit 2 or 3 years ago, and a routine appointment turned into so much more. He recommended that I go see a specialist, and what they found was that I have Stargardt's disease. And Stargardt's is a rare form of macular degeneration, and it's genetic. So sometimes it skips a generation. So you just never know. It can be, you know, far back in your family, 2 or 3 generations, and then appear in the current generation, as was the case with my condition. So it attacks your central nervous well, not nervous system, your central vision rather, and it slowly, those cells just die. So it compromises your central vision. So your peripheral vision will remain, but eventually you will go colorblind, and then you lose your sight fully. And it is a progressive condition, and not much is known. There are several really cool organizations doing research on this work, and that's why I think it's important to note that a portion of the proceeds of every piece of work that I sell goes to support that research as well. But I have always been someone who is very focused on community and the arts and bringing those two worlds together. So I really feel like I was kind of primed for this season, even though I didn't know it. And as a woman of color in America, oftentimes we feel invisible. We either are villainized, we're viewed as a threat, or we're just not seen. And it's something that I think that a lot of people of color have to navigate on a daily basis. And I think it's something that a lot of people who are not people of color may take for granted because it's not their experience. And it has nothing to do with your size or your stature, because I'm 6'1", and I have been in situations before where I was overlooked, I wasn't seen, discriminated against, all those things. And I think that for people of color, that can be such a hurtful thing. But I think in order for us to begin to unpack that and move forward, we have to have conversations about it. And the best way to do that, I feel, is to do that through the arts, because art's the perfect medium. It disarms, it brings people together. It's the perfect resource to really start unpacking these conversations with dignity and respect.
Yeah, I like that about art too. It reaches people in a different way than the written word. And art is one of my passions in life. So I'm super excited on that score to bring you here also. And really, it just came out of my own selfish desire to have some artwork up on the walls at my office, but it's turned into something cooler. So
totally. I think it's so cool to note that too, because we did not, we originally planned to take the show to 3 cities. That was the plan, the business plan. To really get out there and engage the community through the work once it was released and have it visit 3 cities. But what we did not do was say it has to go to this market or it has to go to that market. We were very mindful that we wanted to be able to take it to a city or a town that was open and mindful and willing. And just through conversations that you and I had, we arrived at this collaboration. So it really was an organic collaboration. And for that, I'm very grateful.
Yeah, me too. I like it when things work out that way. Why don't we shift gears and talk about the other part of our event, which is the panel discussion. What do you want to know?
So I would love to know, and it's a busy time outside. I live outside of Denver, so if you hear lots of noise outside, I apologize. It's that time of the day. But I would love to know, Leota, what prompted you to suggest the panel discussion? Because that was your idea.
Well, I thought maybe I didn't have quite enough things to do, so I would add a big giant project onto my plate.
Why not?
Why not? Yeah, why not? Well, when I started to look at your artwork, I realized that it was the kind of work that would really spark discussion. And I feel like one thing that is really solidly missing in our current civil discourse is exactly that, actual civil discourse. And when I started to think about it, I realized that I knew a lot of people that had the skills to be able to communicate in a productive way without without sort of falling into the familiar fight that people are going to hear. And and the other thing was that, you were talking about your city noises. You get to listen to my chickens.
And I love it. I love that you have chickens outside. And I love that I feel like they're a part of this zone.
They definitely think so. So the other thing that was in my mind was that, the Independent is all about local, hyper local. And you're a Denver artist. And so I was looking for a way to tie the exhibition into our local community. So I've got people from all over 3 counties who have agreed to have this kind of discussion for an audience.
So let me ask you this. You mentioned that the Independent is all about local, local, local. And that's one of the reasons I love the idea of us collaborating together is because you all celebrate the everyday. You provide information on news and sports and government and all those things that people are looking for on a daily basis. And I think that this is just speaks to the progressiveness of the paper and the commitment to the community that you have, that you're willing to partner in an event like this and really initiate these conversations. And we have some really cool people on the panel. So can you give a rundown of who's participating in the panel on next Saturday?
You bet. And, for the record, I don't consider the Independent to be a progressive newspaper or a conservative newspaper or we're an independent newspaper. And one of our goals is always to provide a forum and a platform for people from all different viewpoints.
Yes.
And so, I think it may be progressive in the sense of we're trying to, get with some video and do some modern newspaper type stuff. But, we're really, our affiliation is independent. So in that line, when I went looking for panelists, they're all folks from the local area. So I have, well, with the exception of one, we have a businesswoman from Albuquerque who will be a fantastic panelist. We have a guy named Rick Lopez who has worked extensively with the Torrance County Republican Party and the state Republican Party. And he is, I've known Rick for a real long time. He's very much committed to, engaging with people, with different viewpoints. We have a young man named Augie Montoya who right now he's 20 or 21. He is president of the Tahique Land Grant. He ran for the office of Torrance County Commission at 18 or 19. Just a stellar young man with a real commitment to people in the community and going to bring a lot to the table. We have a woman named Tracy Master. She is a long-standing volunteer in the community. She is a chaplain for police and fire. Just another one of these people that is always giving back to the community.
Right.
We have Quenisha Myers, who is the owner of Q's Cakes in Albuquerque, a businesswoman there who I have just watched launch herself into space with her, the stuff that she's doing with her business. I consider her a real leader in the business community in Albuquerque and really way beyond Albuquerque. She's starting to get national attention and, she is something else. She's a powerhouse. And our last panelist is the Edgewood Police Chief, Daryl Sanchez, who I think will also bring a really valuable perspective in terms of law enforcement. Another terrific guy, always willing to work in the community. He's fairly new here, but he is really stepping up and taking an active role. In fact, tomorrow they're going to be doing a water play day here in Edgewood that the police host, and they make a giant mud pit and all kinds of other stuff, water slides and water balloons and all kinds of stuff. A lot of fun in Edgewood. So anyway, I hope I'm not forgetting anybody that's on the panel.
I don't think
but
so.
that should be it. Then we're going to have, just for you, we're going to have a taste of New Mexican food. So Joe White, who writes a column for the Independent every week called Roaring Mouse, is also she's a longtime volunteer with the Edgewood Lions Club and other organizations, and she just loves to get her hands dirty and feed a bunch of people. So she's going to be preparing some food for us. We're going to have a table with art supplies on it. So if we've got anybody that brings their kids, they'll have something to keep them occupied during the thing.
Wonderful.
I don't know what else. I'm lost in details on it. I'm very excited about it.
No, I think you did a great job providing an overview of the panel discussion. And I think it's important to note that oftentimes people watch the news or they read things in the paper, or hear things from family and friends, and they may have some questions, just basic questions that they want to ask, or maybe in-depth questions they want to ask. If you are that person, this event is for you. We'll have 2 boxes where as soon as you arrive, you can write down or have someone write for you your question down and place it into a box. So you have the opportunity of asking a question without asking a question. And we'll also going to really open it up to the audience to really kind of get feedback from the audience on what is important to you. And with the great panelists that will be there, there's just no telling what direction it will go into, but we're going to approach everything with respect and love. And I think it's important that people be mindful that if you are someone who is curious, you want to be more conscious, you just want your question answered and you're new to this is the event for you. If you have youth, teenagers especially, this is a great event to bring your kids to. This is that event where you would bring the whole family. It's family friendly. If you're in business and this is a great networking event because you'll be there with like-minded people who have open hearts. So we are championing, diversity and inclusion, and we're staying true to the voice of the independent, as you so aptly put it, Leota, because we want to provide a safe, warm platform for people to share ideas and just learn from each other and build new community. Because the concept of community that we have been holding on to for so long has not served everyone. So that's what we're focusing on. And that's what my work focuses on.
We should also mention that this event is free and open to the public, and that it's going to be held at the historic Bean Barn at Wildlife West Nature Park here in Edgewood. Wildlife West is another one of the community partners that's coming together to help put this on, and we're very grateful to them. So it's Absolutely. A cool space. It is an actual bean barn, though. You should,
be mindful. Yeah. This is not the event where you come through in stilettos and an after 5 dress, unless you're just feeling that way. If that's just how you feel, do you.
Somebody might want to, but could be right.
Yeah, do you, but bring some backup flats because bring the backup flats. Well, I'm excited, Leota. I can't wait. We'll head that way on next Thursday and we'll be in town, and I look forward to meeting the beautiful people in your community, showing this work, debuting some new pieces. And, as someone who is an oral historian, studied history for years, majored in this in college, I couldn't be happier to do this with you and to make a little history, because we'll make some history next Saturday as well. Because to my knowledge, correct me if I'm wrong, never before has an event of this nature come together under these circumstances with this intention at heart.
I mean, it's the first time I've heard of it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's like you said, we want to provide a space where we know that these conversations are difficult, and that even people with good intentions may not know how to approach the questions of how, dealing with each other's experience. And so we want to just be able to have a space where people can say, I don't even know how to ask this.
Right.
And it would still be, received by a group of people who are willing to grapple with it, but in a really compassionate and loving way. So I think we'll see how it goes, but I think it's going to be fun.
I know it's going to be fun. I can't wait. I'll see you next weekend. And let's remind people, if you have not registered, please go to Eventbrite. If you have questions, reach out to Leota on social or reach out to me through Duplessis Art. My website's duplessisart.com. I'm on Facebook, I'm on YouTube, and I'm on Instagram. If you have any questions, reach out to us or call the Independent. We want you to be there. As we mentioned, it is free and open to the public, but we would like for you to register so we can prepare the food accordingly. Thanks so much, Leota. This was amazing. I'll see you next week.
All righty. Sounds good.
Take care.
Let me turn off this.